This is just one DIYer's struggle to save a bit of money by doing my own plasterboarding in my kitchen. And I've never really done any plasterboarding before, so I thought it was going to be really easy. I thought I was just going to have to apply some adhesive and then stick a board to it. And when I saw how much plasterers were charging for this, I thought it was going to be a really easy way to save some money. But it turns out this has been one of the most stressful parts of this home renovation so far. And my first DIY injury, which I know sounds absolutely crazy, especially since I've built the extension with no experience. But trust me, plasterboarding is difficult, and it seems crazy that no one seems to know the real answer as to whether you should put a full unbroken bead of adhesive on or not. So let's start right at the beginning of the project when I tried to make the first bucket of adhesive. I was so stressed out by that because I tried to make a full bag and the bucket was too small and I just couldn't fill it with enough water, so it was rock hard and the paddle mixer just couldn't move it. And to make things worse, just before making the mix, I'd already had to scrap a full plasterboard because I'd cut the shape of the bat box out of the board in the wrong place. I also couldn't find conclusive building regs on how much adhesive should be applied to the wall for each plasterboard. It's really not clear in the UK where the plasterboard adhesive should be applied. Some people say that it needs to be a consistent bead of adhesive all around the outside of the plasterboard, and others are saying it can be 8 dabs up and 4 across. Without a conclusive answer, I just decided to do the full bead of adhesive, so I'm definitely in line with building regs. But if you're often doing plasterboarding and you know the regulations, please let us know in the comments. And to make sure I got the perfect cut around doors and windows, I just went outside and marked it with a pencil. I found that was the best way to get the perfect cut. And it was about a third of the way into the project when the injury happened. I woke up in the morning and I must have pulled a muscle in my hand. Every time I tried to close my fist, it really hurt. So I had to get some help in. I did work through it though, and after a couple of days my hand did start to feel better. And the room was starting to come together. Because of the difference in depth between the old kitchen wall and the extension wall, I had to batten that wall out, which meant I needed to make adjustments to the back boxes to bring them forward a little bit. I just didn't want the back boxes sunk too deep behind the plasterboard. And that's when I hit another unexpected challenge. Because the back boxes were actually lower than the battens, I couldn't use the old trick of banging the plasterboard against the back box to make an imprint, so I had to measure them all in. So if you're a DIYer and you're planning to do your own plasterboard, here are a few tips to help you get through it. Number 1, make sure you've got a big enough bucket. Number 2, you don't want to be lugging all of these plasterboards around by yourself, so get some help. And number 3, make sure you have an area where you can store these plasterboards for a long time.